What's up, it's Zadie, and I'm here to film another video of an amazing animated movie. Just kidding, it's a live action movie actually. Welcome to Flytte Kartina, where I'm going to be reviewing the movie Beauty and the Beast, the animated film turned live action movie. And I'll have to say that this movie is really impressive for me. So just to preview what's going to go on, I'm going to go over the two main things before we get to the spoiler rant. Two main things are the real rating of the movie and then whether or not I recommend it. At the very end is going to be my spoiler rant, which is going to take up most of this video, because why not? Okay, first of all, they rated the movie PG. This review was given by the Motion Picture Association of America, and they rate all movies of all time, pretty much. There's reasons that they tacked onto the side of the PG that says that it has some perilous images and frightening images, and also some action violence. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen Beauty and the Beast, the animated film, before, and you know where all that stuff comes from. First of all, there's, Beast and Gaston battling on the tower, then there's the fire scene, then there's that one insane asylum thing, and also the dungeon part. That's basically what there is. Another little frightening thing that you might want to know about is there was this one mask that was, relevant to the era and relevant to the story, but it was really scary. It had this long beak-like thing. It was very Tim Burton of them to do that sort of thing, and it was kind of creepy for me. So my rating of the movie would definitely have to be PG. It stayed true to the original Beauty and the Beast animated film, and they didn't really deviate a lot from the original animated film, so the live-action version of this film was not totally surprising to me. And whether I'd recommend it or not, I would say a definite yes. That might be because of some personal reasons. Beauty and the Beast, the animated film, was the first movie that I saw in theaters as a kid, and so it was really special for me to see it now years later as a live action film. On my magical scale of movies, on a scale of Steamboat Willie to Deadpool, how appropriate was this movie for kids? Most Disney movies are this nowadays. They're either a 2 or a 3, and I'm rating it as Tangled, which is on number 3. And on the frequency chart for the perilous and frightening images and action violence, I'd have to rate it like a 3.7 because of just how it's live action, so it's more real to the kids. Thank you so much for watching this really short non-spoiler review for the movie. Please stay for the spoiler rant because I have a ton of fun, and I know you guys will have a fun time too because, I've got some viewers and subscribers, so that's pretty fun. So as always, there are more movies to come, but this was the Beauty and the Beast review, so I'll see you guys then. Brace yourself, the spoiler rant is coming. Directors did an amazing job with this movie. It was super intense, and it was very Disney-like, very Beauty and the Beast. Absolutely nothing in the movie was deviated from the original animated film. So that was really nice. That Disney went to the two extremes. They went from Cinderella, which is totally alike to the animated film, and then they went to Maleficent, which is deviated from Sleeping Beauty. So those are the two extremes, and so Disney went with this one because people liked it more. So Emma Watson played Belle. Everybody knows her as Hermione from Harry Potter, so I'm not going to really say that much about her. I love her work, and I think she did a really good job, taking on the Belle character that she was playing. So next was Dan Stevens, and he played the Beast. He also has this amazing voice, and he has a very clear voice, and I don't know if you guys know him from Downton Abbey, but that was what he is usually known for. But for me, I knew him as Sir Lancelot from Night at the Museum 3. Luke Evans played Gaston. I totally loved this character. I love him in the animated film and in the live action film, and Luke Evans really played him so well. I was really surprised on how alike he was to the Gaston in the animated film because the live action film was so great. There's this one part where he was singing Gaston with LeFou, and Gaston in the animated film has a little bit of a higher vocal range than Gaston does in the live action film. So it kind of took me by surprise to see that he couldn't get to that note that I was expecting him to get to in Gaston, where he's singing and dancing in a tavern. Because the characters were so alike in every which way, and it was at that moment when he was singing Gaston that it, clicked in my brain. They're not the same person. Next is Josh Gad, who is in another Disney film from his Olaf role. He played LeFou. I'm not saying that he didn't do a good job. I'm just saying they could have cast him better. I didn't really like Josh Gad in this role. I get that LeFou is a very difficult, hard character to play, and I really appreciate Josh Gad. I admire him for his work. He does a really good job, but it was just kind of awkward for me to see Josh Gad in that kind of role, and I don't think he was the best fit for that character. But Disney did a great job, that's just one thing. So Kevin Kline was in it as well. He was in Tale of Despero, he voiced Andre, and also he voiced Phoebus in Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is super cool because I love that movie. It's great. Hattie Morahan played the Enchantress, and she was really scary, and I think they made her, you know, very uncomfortable looking, so it was like uncomfortable for me. In the animated film, she wasn't really a prominent character except in the beginning, so seeing her in a live action movie with a little bit more of a active role in the movie, it was awkward for me. I didn't enjoy her altogether, but that was probably the point. Good job, Disney. Okay, so next is Lumiere's character, and he was played by Ewan McGregor, who is Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, and it's so great. It's just, and it just like blows my mind. I'm a super huge Star Wars nerd. I know enough to be passed as a nerd. I mean, don't ask me about the Old Republic. I don't know anything about that. But seriously though, it was like, Ewan McGregor is Lumiere. And then we had Ian McKellen, Magneto, playing another metal character, Cogsworth. I wasn't expecting Cogsworth to be an older gentleman, but Disney made it work. The amazing Emma Thompson, who played Nanny McPhee, she played Mrs. Potts. I know Angela Coulby, I'm pretty sure that's her name, who played the original Mrs. Potts. Pretty sure that's her name. She's a very hard actress to live up to because she's been in so much stuff, and she plays a really good Mrs. Potts. But Emma Thompson really made the character work in her own personal way. Next is Audra McDonald, who played the wardrobe. I don't really know her in the theater world. She's a very, you know, Broadway prominent person, but she plays the wardrobe really nicely, and I love her voice. She has a very unique voice, and I really enjoyed it actually. And then there's Stanley Tucci, who played Maestro Cadenza, who is basically a I forgot what kind of piano it is, but it's a piano. Somehow they made a piano work in the movie, and it was really great. But if any of you guys know Stanley Tucci, he's in a lot of stuff. He's in Hunger Games, he's in Shall We Dance, he's in Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and he's in Captain America, the First Avenger. That's a pretty good resume, I'm just saying. I would love to have that on my resume. And then lastly, we have the Feather Duster, Plumette, who is played by Gugu. And I don't want to pronounce her last name because you can see how I will murder that name. She's actually from Doctor Who, and she plays Tish Jones. It took me like a few minutes to like totally remember that she was in Doctor Who, because there are thousands of characters in Doctor Who. I mean, seriously though. She's also in Free State of Jones. I love her so much. She's a very beautiful actress, and I love how she played Plumette. Okay, one thing I super enjoyed about all of the actors were basically they all had amazing voices, and it was like, it was really satisfying. Onto the plot, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was basically the animated film. The animated film plot and the live action film plot run along side by side. There are just some points in the story where it deviates, but it's not like a huge like, So what happened was they made the mothers a little bit more prominent in this story, for Belle's character and for the Beast's character. And another thing, when in doubt, just blame magic. I mean, seriously, whenever you are like super complicated into the plot, just blame magic, you guys. It's the easiest thing to do. They use magic to explain how the castle was isolated from the rest of the village, which is basically a day's ride away, and how no one remembered that there was a castle and a prince there. I mean, seriously, who forgets who a prince is? It's kind of rude. Magic is super important in most of these Disney movies because of, you know, small explanations like that. Like why everybody forgot that there was a prince in a huge castle in the woods, and who forgets that? And then, you know, they used it in Cinderella, how they explained how the shoe didn't fit anybody. What also was really nice, plot-wise, for Gaston and LeFau's characters especially, was that they actually had a reason for being trigger happy. There's no man in town if it's at least Gaston did. Gaston and LeFau were in the war, and Gaston was the captain and LeFau was like second in command or something, or maybe just grunt worker. I don't know. No one said anything blatantly about that kind of stuff. It gave him a little bit more credibility to why he was so violent. I don't know. I say we kill the beast. That's a great presidential slogan. Gaston for president. Let's kill the beast. Why not? I also liked Maurice's character because how they developed him. He wasn't the mad scientist that the animated film made him out to be. He was actually just a grieving dad wanting to take care of his daughter, who was also happened to be an amazing artist and inventor at the same time. Renaissance man, seriously. I also liked how they developed Lumiere and Plumette's relationship, because that was really special for me to see, just because of how the little things just kind of added together, and it was really nice. Like, why was Lumiere so passionate about getting the castle back together in like one piece again? because he wanted to be with his love again instead of, you know, metal on wood. What also happened in the movie were a few things that kind of ticked me off. The first thing that ticked me off was, why did the castle have to be dying at the same time that everybody else was like, you know, slowly turning into furniture and the beast was becoming more like beast and everything, and it was just like really upsetting. Why? Changes, you had some bad planning doing. Why would you put the beast in total isolation in a castle that is slowly dying? I mean, if you wanted him to be isolated from the rest of the world, why would you be destroying the thing that he is living in? What is he gonna do? Another thing that bothered me was the storybook that Beast had, the Enchantress gave him. I get it, it was her way of punishing him because he can never be with people anymore, so, you know, why not just give him a book that makes him travel to all these places? But literally the book was just there to see how Belle's mother died. There was literally no other explanation for the book to be there. Why was it there? Exactly? Can you tell me? Disney. Another small thing that bothered me was the costuming. Not the costuming as in like, you know, it was accurate to the times. I get that. I love the costume changes. But in the animated film, Belle and the Beast were the only characters to have their costume colors be blue, signifying that they were, you know, apart from the crowd. They weren't like everybody else. They were strangers. They were loners. They were, you know, misunderstood. But in the town where they're singing La Belle, there were a few characters that had blue on. Why would you ruin such a good thing, Disney? You had a great thing going there. One last thing that I was really bothered with was the camera work. I get that it was supposed to be artsy and artistic, but from my perspective, it was really dizzying. I had to close my eyes, I almost got vertigo. I'm really not this angsty, you guys. I'm really a nice person. I love Disney. This is a great movie. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't sue me. So one thing that I laughed a lot about in the theater, full of like, you know, a full theater of people, I laughed about the Beast solo. It's called Evermore, which I love. The song was amazing. But while Beast was singing the song, he is literally such a drama queen. He was like climbing up the tower steps and following Belle and, you know, going higher and higher and higher and higher and doing that Broadway thing where he's like stretching his arm out like, oh my goodness, my love is leaving me. But he is such a drama queen. He could have just gone to the top of the tower and just sang his song from there, but no, he had to make it a little bit more dramatic and climb up the steps as she was going and fading away from view. It was made me laugh so much. Speaking of singing, I was not expecting the whole movie to be very musical-like. I was expecting more Cinderella sort of thing, like, you know, where it's mostly live action and less, you know, musical part. Not that it was bad. I'm not saying that. Not saying that at all. But what happened was, I didn't realize how frequent songs were in any Disney movie whatsoever. It just kind of surprised me. But in the end, like, you know, halfway through the movie and halfway through all the songs, I really enjoyed having a song every 2 minutes, and it was kind of, it was really nice. My top 3 characters of this movie would have to be Audra McDonald's wardrobe, and then the Maestro Cadenza by Stanley Tucci, and also Dan Stephen as the Beast. Those 3 characters I think were played amazingly. Thank you guys so much for watching my spoiler rant on this. I know that I was very critical of Disney, and I really mean them no harm whatsoever. It's just there are these small things that I was really bothered with. I don't really know what they did that for, but otherwise it was such a great movie. Those were just small, tiny little tidbits that I just did not like. The acting was amazing, the production was amazing, I love the animation, the songs were chosen really well, especially the other ones that were written apart from the animated film. And, you know, the overall movie was amazing. I'm going to buy this movie probably in the best format possible, and I'm already in the process of downloading the soundtrack. So thank you guys so much for watching my review and spoiler rant on Beauty and the Beast. Next up, I will have my Power Rangers movie review up in a few days, hopefully.